Hello there, young explorers. Welcome to a brand new explainer adventure. Today, we're going to dive into a truly fascinating story about a boy facing a very sneaky, completely invisible monster. Do you know what that monster was? It was his very own fear. So let's dive right into this tale, because what happens when you stand at the edge of something scary is actually quite a mystery. Have you ever felt that way? Well, let's take a look.
I want you to really think about this for just a second. Have you ever been terrified of something you've already done a million times before? Maybe it's riding your bike down a really steep hill, or standing up to speak in front of your class, or even just jumping into a swimming pool. You know exactly how to do it, right? You've done it so many times in your own backyard. But suddenly, when it really matters, your heart starts thumping, your palms get super sweaty, and your mind goes completely blank. Well, if you've ever felt that way, you are going to understand exactly how our hero felt today.
Part 1. Facing the giant bar. Let's meet Marcus.
So, Marcus is competing in his school's intramural track meet. The gymnasium is huge, and right in the middle of it is the high jump setup. Now, it's literally just a thin bar resting on two stams, but to Marcus, on this particular day, it looks like a giant, impossible mountain. The gym is hushed. Everyone is watching, and Marcus feels totally frozen. Think about him in practice. He had actually cleared this exact same height a dozen times before. A dozen! He knew this. His legs knew this. But then, look at him at the meet. He is completely frozen in front of those bleachers. Why? Because the bleachers are full of people he actually recognizes. His friends, his classmates, his teachers. And just because of that crowd, his body decided to forget absolutely everything it knew. The obstacle in his mind suddenly became so much taller than the actual obstacle right in front of him.
Part 2. 2 tumbles and a laugh.
Marcus takes a deep breath, and he leaps for his very first jump of the day. The gym is so quiet you could hear a pin drop. He runs, he leaps, and oh no, clatter. The bar hits the mat. It made this soft, anticlimactic rattle. It wasn't actually a very loud noise at all, but to Marcus, standing there feeling so embarrassed, that little rattle felt horribly loud. Have you ever felt like a tiny mistake sounded like a giant thunderstorm? That is exactly how Marcus felt in that moment. But hey, in track and field, you get another try, right? So Marcus lines up for attempt number 2. He runs towards the bar, jumps, and he clips it again. In fact, he clipped it in the exact same spot, with the exact same leg. It was like his body was running the exact same broken computer program on repeat. He was just so caught up in the fear of missing that he repeated his mistake. And then, the hardest part happened. A few people up in the bleachers laughed. Now, they weren't trying to be mean. As we know, sometimes laughter is just an automatic human response when we see a small physical mishap, like someone tripping. But Marcus didn't know that. He felt that laugh land heavily right underneath his ribs. It made that invisible monster of fear feel even bigger. Honestly, he was ready to just give up.
Which brings us to part 3, the coach's secret formula. Let's listen to Miss Petrov. Out of the crowd walks his coach, Miss Petrov. She is wise, she's kind, and she knows exactly how to shrink invisible monsters. She walks right up to Marcus, looks him right in the eye, and shares a secret formula. She says 4 incredibly powerful words that cut through all the noise, all the fear, and all the embarrassment. She says, "Look at the bar." She didn't want him looking at the bleachers. She didn't want him looking at the people laughing. And she definitely didn't want him thinking about the history of his last 2 failed jumps. She wanted him to look at the bar. Its actual dimensions, its actual height. It wasn't a mountain. It was just a bar.
Then, Miss Petrov gave him her absolutely amazing 3-step secret formula. Ready? Step 1, breathe. Step 2, count to 3. Step 3, see the jump before you take it. She told Marcus to do a technical rehearsal right there in his imagination. He had to close his eyes and picture himself successfully jumping over that bar. Not just wishful thinking, but really, truly seeing the specific movements his body needed to make.
All right, part 4, the triumphant leap. The third time is the charm.
Marcus is back at the starting line. He is facing the exact same bar. The exact same crowd is sitting in those bleachers. But this time, something inside Marcus has changed. He is using the secret formula. The whole gym is holding its breath. Would the third time work? Let's do the secret formula with Marcus right now. Take a deep breath with me. Ready? In and out. Now count. 1, 2, 3. He pictures the jump perfectly in his mind, and suddenly he begins to run, Faster, 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 he plants his foot and he leaps.
Up and over, clean and complete. Marcus lands safely on the soft blue mat, and he looks up. The bar is still resting perfectly right in its brackets. I mean, he didn't clear it with a ton of extra room, and it might not have been the most beautiful jump in the history of the world, but he did it. He cleared it completely on his third try.
And that brings us to our final part, Part 5, Seeing the Jump, the final lesson.
Oh, what a feeling of triumph. But you know what Marcus remembered afterward? It wasn't the applause from the crowd. It wasn't even the massive relief of getting it over with. It was an amazing realization. Think about the bar on try 1 versus the bar on try 3. Did it mysteriously shrink? Did it get magically lower to the ground? No way. The bar never grew and it never shrank. Most of the barriers we failed to clear on our first try are exactly the same size on our third try. It was exactly the same height. So what was the only thing that changed between his first tumble and his triumphant leap? The only thing that changed was where Marcus was looking.
And that brings us to a very special magic word in this explainer, focus. Focus means looking carefully at the movement you need to make, instead of looking at the crowd or the bleachers or your fear of what could possibly go wrong. The invisible monster of fear feeds on us looking at the wrong things. But when we focus on the movement, the monster shrinks right down to nothing.
So the next time you find yourself standing at the edge of something scary, maybe psyching yourself out about something you absolutely know you can do, I want you to remember Marcus. Remember the secret formula. The obstacle in your mind is almost always taller than the one in front of you. Stop staring at what could go wrong. Stop worrying about the crowd or the outcome. Breathe. Count to 3. See the jump. Then jump.
Wasn't that an incredible adventure? I had so much fun sharing it with you. If you and your parents want to join our family and go on even more amazing explainer adventures together, make sure to hit that subscribe button to join StorySpark Studio. And hey, don't forget to ring the little bell so you never miss a new tale. Share this amazing story with your friends and comment down below what was your absolute favorite part of Marcus's jump. Have you ever had to use a secret formula to overcome your fears? Let me know. Until next time, keep breathing, keep focusing, and keep making those magnificent jumps.